Good morning. Good morning, Kristen Simeon, Finance Director. It is our pleasure to present to you the annual comprehensive financial report, and we do have Jeff Brown here from our auditors, Ashley Brown and Smith and Company. He'll give you some highlights about the report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not going to go through this lengthy document, but if you got any questions, feel free to interrupt me. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is on page 1 is our independent.
Put the mic up.
Got it. Okay. Independent auditors report. This is what we call a clean report, unqualified, unmodified opinion. It basically means that the financial statements as prepared by your staff are in conformity with governmental accounting standards, generally accepted accounting standards, everything. It's the highest level of report that you receive from an auditor. So we appreciate their professionalism and expertise. It's obviously a lengthy document. There was a new accounting standard that was required to be implemented this year, as well as one last year that created a lot of work. Just to not go too much detail, but it has to do with leases. So there's some new numbers on your balance sheets in here to talk about what the long-term liabilities and what the impact to the city is. But there's a lot of data that has to be collected to put that in there. So that's one of the newer things in there this year. If you haven't, on page 20 is what we call your management's discussion and analysis. And I encourage you to kind of keep that as a reference tool. It's in a narrative format. It's got some comparative information in there, compares fiscal year 23 to fiscal year 22, graphs and charts and things like that. It provides a nice overview of the financial highlights for the year. Not going to go too much into any numbers, but one of the things we look at is kind of like the city as a whole. So there's what we call a statement of activities in here. It's on page 40. Basically presents the net position, beginning of the year, total revenues, inflows, expenses. But the point of it being there's two income statements and two balance sheets in here, but basically the city is financially sound. Net position, fund balances are increasing from fiscal year 22 to 23, so obviously that's a good thing. There's some additional reports back in here, way in the back on pages like 140 or so is what we call a management letter. There's references to Florida Auditor General, Florida statutes, all positive statements. The city complied with everything that you're required to comply with. We do not have any formal management letter comments, nothing that you need to be aware of any changes or any negative issues there, all positive statements. There's another report in here on what we call internal control and compliance, and again, same positive statements, no issues of non-compliance that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. There's something else new in here this year is what we call a single audit report. It's way in the back around page 200 or so, but there's references to what we call your federal single audit. So there was about $9.3 million of federal awards that were expended in fiscal year 23. So we have to do what we call this single audit. So there's additional reports and procedures in there. But again, positive statements. There's no findings, no question costs, nothing like that you need to be aware of. So with that, I'd be happy to try to answer any questions. But again, a clean report, and we appreciate their professionalism and expertise. The audit process is less than fun. We ask for lots of documents, but they do a great job.
Thank you very much for the assistance, and we really appreciate all the hard work.
Absolutely.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay. With that, we would need a motion to accept the report.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 2A, the presentation of the city annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year ended September 30, 2023. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And next we have the presentation of the CRA annual financial report for fiscal year ended September 30, 2023.
So a couple years ago, again, Kristen Simeon, Finance Director, a couple years ago, the statutes changed and required a separate report for the CRA. So we do provide that. We will have one more next year as we close up the fund. Again, it was a clean opinion, no comments from the auditor. We do put in the leases. There's a lot of leases in this one. So again, you see that change from the accounting standard that we had to make. So again, we have our auditor here who can answer any questions on that as well.
Any questions for anyone? Okay, and once again, we need a motion, please.
Move to approve 2B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 2B, the presentation of the Community Redevelopment Agency Annual Financial Report for fiscal year ended September 30, 2023. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Comment.
You may.
So I'd just like to thank staff that worked on this so hard. Of course, it takes everyone to provide information, but finance has done an amazing job at this. Dick, thank you for all the work you put into this as well. And the auditors, I know with the new GASB regs and such, there was a lot of work done to get this complete. So the integration between your team and our team was certainly notable, and we appreciate the cooperation that you've shown as well as the work that our staff's done. So it's always good to have clean opinions and no comments. The management letter certainly explains a lot, and that is good information as well. So thank you all for getting it to this point.
Indeed. Thank you. Okay, at this time, if there's anyone in the audience who would like to introduce themselves as a candidate for a board or committee appointment, and you would like to introduce yourself to the council, please come to the center podium, state your name for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning.
Good
My name
morning.
is Robert Engelhardt, and I've applied to be a member of the Code Enforcement Board. I've submitted my application and a brief bio. Don't know if you've seen it. I see a head nod. Somebody has
Yes.
seen it, but
Yes.
Anyway, so I won't go over all of that. I've been a resident of Punta Gorda for about 5 years. Actually, it'll be 5 years in about 5 days. 6 days. There you go. I volunteer with the police department and the Marine Patrol, and I'm looking for an opportunity to continue serving the community that I live in by being a member of this board.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for
That's basic.
volunteering.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anything else? Any questions?
Yes, sir.
With that, less than 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Marine Patrol and Code Enforcement, that might be a good combination. Because
Yes, actually, it is a good combination, having been on the code board. Is there anyone else that would like to introduce themselves? Okay, before we open up the floor for public comments, I have housekeeping notes to read into the record. Please silence all personal devices as this meeting is being recorded and it disrupts the proceedings when phones go off during the meeting. There's a code of conduct in the council chamber, and members of the public should familiarize themselves with the rules. Members of the public who wish to address the council should use the guest podium at the center of the room. The podium to the right of the stage is for staff and applicant presentations only. Speak directly into the microphone and begin by stating your name for the record. Each person will have 3 minutes to speak, and sharing minutes is not permitted. Speakers are to direct all comments to the City Council, not the audience or any one individual council member. Discussion between speakers and members of the audience is not permitted. When there are many individuals who wish to speak, speakers should try not to reiterate lengthy comments made by others to ensure an effective and efficient meeting. This ensures everyone has an opportunity to speak. Audience and speakers will be courteous in their language and presentation. No applause, sidebar conversations, or booing before, during, or after each speaker. Please refrain from talking in the audience during the meeting. A copy of any supporting documents referenced during your presentation must be provided to the city clerk. These documents will become part of the permanent record and will be retained by the clerk's office. The citizen comments portion of the meeting is not intended to be a question and answer session. This is for citizen comments only. Council members should refrain from answering impromptu questions or debating issues with members of the public. With that, we open up the floor for public comments.
Good morning, City Council. Janine Polk, Punta Gorda resident. I'd like to discuss item number 6E, the millage rate. Our taxable values are again rising considerably, 10% we're hearing. Taxable values in the past 3 years have gone up 34%, yet we're considering keeping the millage rate the same. I'd like to give you some statistics to think about before raising our taxes. Statistic number 1, almost all of the schools in Charlotte County are Title I schools, meaning federal funds are allocated to them because these schools serve a high percentage of students from low-income families in the area. This is important to consider before raising taxes. Deep Creek Elementary, East Elementary, Kingsway Elementary, Liberty Elementary, Meadow Park Elementary, Murdoch Middle School, Myakka River Elementary, Neil Armstrong Elementary School, Peace River Elementary School, Sally Jones Elementary School, which is the school that serves our students, serves 674 students from Punta Gorda, and Violent Elementary School, all Title I schools. Statistic number 2, 62.7% of our population are 65 years of age or older. Most of the people are retired and living on a fixed income. The rising cost of living, coupled with the ever-increasing insurance premiums, is important to consider prior to raising our taxes. Statistic number 3, the cost of home insurance in Florida has risen by 102% in the past 3 years, according to the data from the Insurance Information Institute, and they are 3 times more expensive than the national average. Please consider this before raising our taxes. Statistic number 4, currently there are 860 homes for sale in the 33950 zip code. The median sale price is down 13.3% since 1 year ago in June. And 78.8% of the homes that are sold were below asking price just last month. We now have a buyer's market. Please consider this before raising our taxes. Now is the time to make fiscally sound decisions. Thank you.
If everyone would please silence their devices. Is there anyone else that would like to address council? Please come forward.
Good morning, Joe Como, Punta Gorda resident. So this past week, Governor DeSantis signed a bill that many of you may have missed, a rather obscure one, but it represents kind of a 40-year soapbox of mine. That being the mass release of balloons and banning them. And I think in the bill, the language is something like not more than 9 balloons. Great language in there about what it does for wildlife, for the environment, and for all those kinds of things. But from personal experience, there's another aspect that this also helps. Air traffic control and air traffic. Balloons go up. They'll go up to 500, 1,000 feet or more, which is right in the traffic pattern for a lot of our traffic around here. Some balloons, especially the Mylar balloons, are made out of the material that is essentially chaff. What it does is it blocks out a primary radar target. So from personal experience, many years ago when I was the chief of air traffic control at one of the busiest Air Force bases in the country, we had a local mall open and launched thousands of balloons right into the traffic pattern of a pilot training base. Needless to say, it was chaos. The same thing can happen on a much smaller scale. Balloons can get sucked into jet engines, balloons can get entangled in props, balloons can obscure pilots' visions. But mainly, it blocks out radar as well. So we lost an entire segment, about 1/4 of our radar presentation, because of the launch of these balloons. They look nice, people like them, but they're a hazard, not just to wildlife and the environment, but also occasionally to air traffic, pilots, and the people transversing our sky. We do have an airport here, and quite often we have aircraft at 500 or 1,000 feet, and balloons can easily reach that level. So again, I don't often do this, but I'd like to thank the legislature and Governor DeSantis for this bill.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeff Lustig here. I wanted to comment on the beautiful flowers that are out there. Mr. Schulman and Punta Gorda in Bloom and Team Punta Gorda for providing these flowers on Marion Street. It's really, the display is great. To walk in the evening with the lights on is just a pleasure. Now, that was the carrot, here's the stick. We really should change your opinion about the Fisherman's Village. I know you've had a past with the past owner, but that's pettiness. From what I have gleaned from the county commissioners, that these entities have a right to increase the time for their projects. I was looking at one in Harbor Heights that has been going on since 1992. Just because you believe that you have the right to be able to disallow this legally doesn't mean you should defend it. it'll only cost you money. These are receivers. They want their money back, and they will sue. It's better to settle and just move on. Projects like this in Punta Gorda create jobs, and as someone who works for a major tourist place, I was at the county commissioners, the tourist board meeting that meets quarterly, and our Chris Constance, who is the one of the commissioners, county commissioners, was gleeful in all the tax revenue that has come in. Matter of fact, he was worried that Tallahassee would take some of it. I also met our council members there. Businesses, the jobs that are created for our young people and for our senior citizens allow us to have a better standard of living and allow us to be contributing members of society. A job is so important. I look forward to my 2 days a week. Just can't wait to get out there and be a busser and having meaningful employment. It really allows people to have dignity and to feel self-worth. And so please think about that when you're dealing with Fisherman's Village. A main thing that I tell everybody to go to at the resort that I work at. And give a shout out to Iguana Land on Route 17 and Vermont Road. It's a great great thing for our town. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, City Council and everybody in the chamber. I want to...
Your name, please, for the record.
Sure. My name is Tim Ritchie, and I'm the Citizen Water Czar and founder and president of March Against Mosaic, and I live on Via Veneto Road. And I just want to say that my rights, my freedom of speech will not be restricted. Can you imagine telling President George Washington or Ben Franklin that you are not allowed to criticize another person, only an opinion? They'd laugh you off the stage. Now, I want everybody to know the Punta Gorda water meter crisis is not over. My mother was just stiffed for $782.02, and she expects it paid back, Greg, in cash as I paid it. She wants to know who in the hell, her words exactly, closed her account. Who in the F opened a new account with the wrong address? My mom, quote unquote, this morning is, I am so effing pissed off, Timothy Mark. When I hear my name, Timothy Mark, I know my mom's sincerely pissed. We're going to get to that. Next, tourism. Want to talk about balloons? Why the hell wasn't that balloon shot down from China? I know the men that my grandfather served for would have sent a plane up there and shot that balloon down immediately. Tourism. If you all do not get on creating a resolution banning phosphate mining in the city of Punta Gorda, and you do not write the letter supporting DeSoto County, this is what we're going to have right at the end of Kings Highway, everybody. 8 giant clay settling areas discharging 1 to 30 million gallons a day of acidic wastewater. We already have up to 27 million coming from Mosaic, Bartow, South Gypstack, Outfall, D002. And I want all of you to know, I have the emails from the city from 2 or 3 years ago complaining about my canal and the toxic pollution coming out of it. I can take every one of you out to the field by Alligator Creek where the poop is coming from.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Gaylord. I'm the president of the Punta Gorda Historic Mural Society. I'm speaking this morning in reference to the approval of the lease agreement with the YMCA, specifically regarding the YMCA timeline document that mentions preservation of the mural at the Cooper Street Rec Center. I'd like to clarify the situation with the mural. The mural at the center, called Developing Minds and Bodies, was painted by and is the responsibility of the Mural Society. The Mural Society painted the mural in 2006, shortly after Hurricane Charlie, and they completed the repairs on the building. As you know, if you visited the building, the mural is in very bad shape. The mural started showing signs of paint failure as early as December 2009, just 3 years after it was painted. We tried to repaint a test area to see if it would fix the issue. It did not. By 2012, it was determined by the city that the problem existed for the entire building, not just the mural walls. In 2014, the city power washed, chalk sealed, and painted the building, but unfortunately did not include the mural walls. This fixed the problem for the other walls, but not the mural. Based on this, it was clear that the mural walls would require the same steps, thus removing the mural in the process. Over the years, we had many discussions with the several new Operation Cooper Street executive directors, board presidents, and board members about working with us to develop a plan to replace the mural, including fundraising. They agreed to help with fundraising, but we failed to get traction with them to put a plan in place. Fast forward to 2022. The city was scheduled to repaint the building, including the mural walls this time, by the end of the year. Unfortunately, Hurricane Ian hit, and this did not happen. The mural has continued to deteriorate. This part of the building complex is close to 60 years old, and the mural walls now have dozens of surface cracks, some significant in width. The building repaint has been scheduled for this year. The mural walls will be repaired and painted, resulting in the mural being removed. It cannot be preserved. It is our goal to replace the mural. The Cooper Street Rec Center was a very special place for our founder, Dr. Bob Andrews. The mural at the center is important to the Mural Society, and we look forward to the opportunity to work with the new management for the center, the YMCA. It is our goal to engage the local community to help raise funds for a replacement mural. The Mural Society and the local community have worked together successfully in the past to raise funds for the new local Black History mural, and we look forward to joining forces again for this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mike Polk. The 2024 tax roll has again increased over 10% over the prior year. That's a 34% increase over the past 3 years. When are you going to cut the millage rate? There are currently over 8,000 homes for sale in Charlotte County, and a correction is coming. What are you going to do then? We already have one of the highest tax rates in Southwest Florida. The tax base fell 50% from 2008 to 2012, and it could happen again. We are a retirement community, and citizens are struggling to pay their taxes in light of the recent increase in insurance premiums. It's time for this council to act responsible and reduce the budget. Along those lines, why are we considering acquiring this property? The old Bayfront Center contained 8,500 square feet. The impact property contains 47,833 square feet, over 5 times the size of the Bayfront Center. How can you justify this? This building is functionally obsolete, and it does not have adequate parking for the proposed and existing use.